Alright guys, we have our functions and events for our map. Now what we're going to do is add a form down here so that we can add new markers. So let's go to app component HTML and let's go underneath this row and create a new one. Alright, and then in here we're going to have a 12 column div. So we're going to say call MD12. And in here we're going to do a panel, bootstrap panel. So we're going to give it a class of panel and panel default. Okay, and then we'll have a panel heading. Let's fix that. Okay, and then in the heading we're going to have an H3. Okay, we're going to say H3 and give this a class of panel title. We'll say add new marker, and let's go under the div panel heading and create a div, and we're going to give this one a class of panel body. And in the panel body we're going to have a form, and let's put in a label. This will be for the location name, and then we'll have an input. Input is going to have a type of text. Okay, and we'll add the form builder stuff after. I just want to get this stuff taken care of. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, so we have the name, and then after that we're going to have the latitude. Okay, type is going to be text, and then this one's going to be longitude, and this one will be draggable. Okay, draggable is going to be a select though. So select, and for options, let's say option value is going to equal no. And this one is going to equal yes. Alright, and then we're also going to need our submit button. So right under it we're going to say input type is going to equal submit. And let's give it a value of map it. Alright, let's take a look at that. Alright, so there's our form. Looks pretty good. Now what we'll do is implement form builder. So let's go to our TS, app component TS, and import it. So we need a couple things. We need form builder, control group, validators, and control. And that's going to be from Angular/common. And then let's go down here, and we're going to go into the constructor right here, And let's do let FB, and we're going to set that to new form builder. And then let's say this dot, and we'll call it marker form, is going to equal FB dot group. And we're going to pass in some curly braces, and let's say name, and then we're going to set that to a set of brackets with an empty string for the first. That's the default, which we want nothing, and then we want this to be required, so we want to say validators dot required. Okay, we'll put a comma there, and let's do the same for the rest of these. So this one will be lat. This one will be for longitude, and this will be draggable. But for this one, I'm going to take out the required, and I'm also going to put a default of false. Alright, and then what we can do is say this. Actually, we're not going to do that yet. Okay, let's just save this for now. Now let's go to the HTML and add the necessary attributes. So in our form tag, we're going to set ng form model, and we're going to set that equal to marker form. And then we're going to say $ F and set that to ng form. And then we need our submit. So submit is going to equal a function called add marker, and that's going to be passed in f.value, and that's what's going to let us get all of the values of the inputs. Okay, now in order to do that, we have to add to the input an attribute called ng control. Okay, so we're going to set that to name. This one will be set to lat. I'm sorry, this one is LNG. I mixed these up. This one's lat. And then this one is going to be name. Okay, and then for draggable, we're going to set that as well to the select tag. Let's save that, and then we're going to go to our TS file, and we need to create that function add marker. And just to make sure it's going to work, let's do console.log. We'll say adding marker. Save it. Alright, so now if we were to go ahead and submit this, you can see we get adding markers. So we know that it's submitting how it's supposed to. So now in add marker, first thing we're going to do is check to see what the draggable value is. We want to say if it's yes, we want to set it our property to true. If not, set it to false. Alright, now what we're going to do is, let's see, we're going to pass in marker, and I'm going to set this to any so that we don't get any weird errors. And then we're going to say if this dot marker form dot valid. Okay, so if it's valid, then we want to do whatever. If not, else, then we're going to alert, and we'll say please fill in all fields. Okay, so what it's going to do basically is it's going to check for the validated fields, which we set up here. Okay, so it's going to check for the required fields, and if they're all there, then everything's fine. If not, then it's just going to give us an alert. Now, one thing that I didn't do is we need to set this marker form. So let's go up here where we have all the other properties. I'll go right here and let's say marker form, and that's going to be set to control group, okay, which we're importing from the form builder. Okay, now that error should be gone, so let's go ahead and save this. And now if I try to submit without any data, without any fields, without any values, it should give us an alert. Alright, good. And if we do add in our values, then it doesn't give us the alert. Alright, so now if everything works out as far as the validation, then what do we want to do? We want to check for the draggable. So let's do if, and we can say marker dot draggable is equal to yes. Then we're going to set a variable called isDraggable. We're going to set that to true. Let's do else. Then we're going to set isDraggable to false. Okay, then what we need to do is create a new marker based on the inputs. So var new marker is going to equal an object. We'll say name is going to be marker.name. Lat. Okay, we're going to have to again wrap it in parse float and pass in marker.lat, and then same thing for longitude. And then draggable. Okay, now this is going to be whatever that value is in isDraggable. Alright, so now what we can do is add it to the markers. We'll say this dot markers dot push, and we're going to pass in new marker. Alright, so let's save it. And I'm going to open up my latitude latlong.net, and let's go ahead and grab this. Okay, copy that, and I'm going to put that in our application in longitude, and then the latitude I'm going to grab. Okay, and it should show up down here when I do it. And let's say company 4. We'll say draggable, yes. Map it, and there it is. Alright, we click on that, we get company 4. It's also draggable. Now if we reload, it's not gonna be there anymore, okay, because it's just working locally in the component. So in the next video we're gonna create our service so that we can actually push these things to local storage and ultimately save them. So I will see you in the next video.